The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines cringe as to show disgust or embarrassment at something. Cringe has become a culture of its own on the internet, whether it's embarrassing TikToks that make the casual viewer wince in disgust, or just the existence of furries. Anyways, cringe, or a particularly cringy individual, is going to be our topic for today. Let's begin by talking about a certain group of people on the internet. One group of fanatics on the internet that have provided a plethora of cringe since the dawn of the internet, aka the dawn of time, are weeaboos.
I'm so desu, I'm gonna cry! Next is my neko collar with a bell, it's so kawaii!
Weeaboo is defined as a derogatory slang term for a Western person who is obsessed with Japanese culture, especially anime, often regarding it as superior to all other cultures. The term weeaboo was coined thanks to a webcomic titled The Perry Bible Fellowship. The word weeaboo wasn't used to specifically refer to a fan of Japanese culture in this comic, but it was shown to be something that is looked down upon, and thus deserving of punishment. A weeaboo isn't someone who just likes anime, it's someone who's obnoxiously fanatical about it. Nowadays, anime fans have co-opted the word as a term of endearment, and oftentimes refer to themselves as weeaboos, or short form, weebs, in jest. We are going to be talking about one weeaboo in particular today, the Queen of Weeaboos, often referred to by followers of her ways as the one true queen. This person is someone many people have not heard of. Her legacy has been lost to time, despite her existence launching the popular gossip website, lolcow.farm. Have you ever heard the phrase, blank is fat and I would not have sex with them? Well, I believe this phrase originated from the topic of this video. Today, I bring you the story of one cosplayer and her dream to shine. This is the story of Pixyteri.
I found someone that I think just broke the world record for being a living anime character because, like, her cosplays are, like, on point and she's just, like, so perfect. Like, she is my queen, I think.
Before I continue the story, I just want to say Pixyteri isn't a bad person. She isn't a perfect person either, but she is still human. She is just an eccentric, and thus people look upon her existence as fascinating. Please do not harass her. In fact, if a wild Pixyteri appears, be nice to her. She is in fact the queen. If you are a follower of lolcows on the internet, Chris Chan is often considered the ultimate lolcow because of how long people have been following their antics.
This makes me really angry.
If Chris Chan is the Adam of lolcowdom on the internet, Pixyteri is the Eve.
Corn dogs are yummy.
Also, piecing her history together has been very difficult, as many of the sites where her lore existed have not been archived. The main place that this woman was originally discussed was on the message board CGL. CGL is a 4chan board that centers around cosplay and EGL. EGL stands for Elegant, Gothic, and Lolita. If you don't know what Lolita is, it's a style of fashion that basically really just focuses on cute aesthetic. To do my best to piece this tale together, I have gone through everything I can find on her Encyclopedia Dramatica, her multiple Kiwi Farms threads, CGL archives, and everything I can find on lolcow.farm. Today, I bring you on a journey down the rabbit hole of figuring out why so many different websites find this woman to be so fascinating. I just wanted to add that I always knew of this person's existence, but I never knew the whole story of her interactions on the internet. So this is me setting out to learn more about her and figure out her story. And although I originally thought this was going to be purely funny and just laughing at some silly cosplayer, it got quite sad. This story starts where most weird stories on the internet start, DeviantArt. Okay, I honestly can't pinpoint exactly which website Pixyteri was discovered on by the big gossip girls of the internet. It was either LiveJournal or DeviantArt, so we're gonna start there. The name Pixyteri comes from a combination of the word pixie and the name Yoko Teriyaki, which was a video game character that Pixie would cosplay from. The earliest online presence I can track Pixie down to was her LiveJournal account. LiveJournal is a website used for online blogging, and her account there was created August 10, 2001, though it seems that the journal has been wiped of most of the entries. Her profile on the site gave us a taste of what she was like. The title reading, "I just want people to see who I am." One thing to note before we get going further is that Pixyteri kinda has a catchphrase, and this title to her LiveJournal is reminiscent of that phrase. That phrase is, "I'm just beginning to shine," or just Pixyteri referencing shining in some kind of way. Anyways, continuing. Underneath the title is some Japanese characters. Below that title had characters in Japanese that when ran through a Japanese to English translator read, "Today, this is Sarah. Barag is only a friend." Not many posts on this account still exist. And because Pixie was an early person of interest, nothing has been properly archived, at least from what I could see. But the first post I could find from any Pixie account dated September 11th, 2002, and judging from the appearance of the screen cap, it appears to be a journal entry on the art website DeviantArt. In this entry, Miss Terry expresses how she hopes people would forget and move on about the horrible tragedy of September 11th, when over 3,000 American civilians died due to a terrorist attack in 2001, 1 year before this post was made. Though this alone is not why Pixie became an infamous internet celebrity, but it does show some of her questionable judgment. There are tons of journal entry screen caps that circulate on image boards of questionable posts by Pixyteri. There are posts of her complaining about how she hates her family, and posts about how she wants to be a Japanese idol and worshipped. For people who don't know what a Japanese idol is, according to Wikipedia, Japanese idols are defined as a type of entertainer manufactured and marketed for image, attractiveness, and personality in Japan pop culture. Idols are primarily singers, but they are also trained in other roles, such as acting, dancing, and modeling. Unlike other celebrities, idols are commercialized through merchandise and endorsements by talent agencies, while maintaining an emotional connection with a passionate consumer fan base. Some of these journal entries are extremely delusional. Pixyteri was born to 2 white parents, but she did not believe she was white. And we'll get more into her delusions later on, but we can say that she was transracial before Rachel Dolezal was.
Are you African American?
I don't understand the question of, I did tell you that yes, that's my dad. And he was unable to come in January.
Are your parents, are they white?
Though in her case, she more so convinced herself that she was adopted and that her dad wasn't her real dad. Her early entries reflect this strange delusion that she believed she was truly Asian because she liked anime. One post read,
"I am not a stupid white girl. Why does my family continue to hurt me like this? And stupid friends say, white girl. Have they ever heard of mix? Have they ever noticed my skin is not pinkish? I may be pale, but my skin is goldenish, whitish. Ugh."
Another one reads,
"I get really offended when people call me white or white girl. Is one person fully one thing or another? Why do they have to bring that up? Especially if they know my feelings on it because of my identifications and appearance. Ugh."
These posts I discuss here are only the tip of what make Pixyteri's delusions interesting. It was very difficult to gather information on this internet eccentric in an organized manner, but let me take you on this journey into my investigation on the one true queen of CGL, starting with her early life. Discussion about Pixie happened all over the internet from interested onlookers, and because Pixie was some kind of freak show in her hometown, people would join the various forums to tell their stories of knowing her in real life. An ex-college friend joined the Kiwi Farms, May 27, 2015, to tell the users there that Pixyteri wasn't that bad in college, I'll bet a little weird. This was shocking to onlookers, as Pixie did not come off as slightly weird to those following her online. Another ex-friend of Pixyteri also came forward on Kiwi Farms to tell their story of knowing Pixie, that she never fully grew up, and that she is delusional. Delusional is the best way to describe Pixie. Pixie isn't a lolcow because she's bad. She's a lolcow because her delusion can be milked for entertainment. Before becoming a lolcow, Pixie seemed rather regular. She posted a journal entry to her live journal that reviewed her life from 2000 to 2009. Their readers find out that she graduated high school in 2003, that she had her first boyfriend in 2004 at 18-19, and that she got into anime and conventions in 2005. In the journal entry, she tells that her and her ex had moved in together for a short bit, but broke up due to his harsh personality differences and the fact that she realized that she didn't love him. After that, she started getting really into the anime Bleach, and started to show interest in a person named Chris. She writes that in 2008, she began to get an unhealthy obsession with Bleach, which, yes, she did. And that then is when she got into EGL, which is Elegant Gothic Lolita / Lolita fashion. Her unhealthy obsession with Bleach, her relationship with Chris, her interest in Lolita, her outbursts on the internet, her bad fashion choices, and her strange behavior will all work together to get people interested in following her antics. Other strange information from Pixie's early life has also been recorded online via stories from her. One worrying story was retold in her Encyclopedia Dramatica article. Encyclopedia Dramatica is a parody wiki that covers internet culture and usually is based somewhat on truths, but it's written in a humorous, oftentimes offensive manner. The story told on the wiki page is about how her mother would force her to take tanning pills in high school. Tanning pills have questionable side effects, including possibly causing psychological dysfunctions. This led people to believe this may have been partially a cause to some of Pixie's behavior on the internet, though this is more of a conspiracy theory. It still was interesting. Though much of Pixie's early online activity is lost to time, I did try to piece together old posts to get an idea of what got her to skyrocket to being the idol of the lolcow community during her golden age. The earliest posts I could find are from 2004 of Pixyteri responding to people criticizing her cosplay. In one post from July 2004, Pixie talks of how she expected people to respond nicely to her cosplays and was upset and wanted to cry because the cosplay community criticized her costume. In another journal entry from 2004, Pixie seemed to be responding to criticism of her Tifa costume, writing,
I am sick of people telling me that I should choose costumes that look good on my body. What the f***ing My Tifa costume looks perfectly good and hot on my body. I'm sorry I have to stress this, but it is my opinion. People have different opinions on how a costume looks. True, but the customer's opinion is what matters most. I will not lengthen my Tifa skirt to make my legs look better, especially when I think my legs are gorgeous as is. I will not forego accuracy to please some assholes who think that you have to be a stick to be a good cosplayer. That's ridiculous. You say I'm not trying to improve my skills as a cosplayer? To grow? These are things I don't deem necessary to improve my skills. It's taking away from accuracy, which really peeves me off, especially when there's no need to do so. Problem areas. Another matter of opinion. What one person might think is a problem, another might think of it as a blessing.
For reference, this is her Tifa costume. Now, of course, the comments that this post is in reference to are now gone. But from knowing a bit about Pixyteri, I do believe early on a lot of people just tried to give her advice on how to make her cosplays look better, and Pixie did not take that well. Pixie posted often in hopes for people to praise her for how beautiful and talented she was. And when people did not have the same viewpoint as her, instead of improving or ignoring comments, she began to post baiting posts for ass paths. Pixie's first still public LiveJournal post appeared on March 25, 2008. This post marked Pixie's first official Lolita shoot, and beneath the post, she received all positive comments. The first mentions of Pixie's plans to go to Japan would happen later that year. It happened on July 11, 2008, when she posted to her LiveJournal that she had gotten her passport. This, too, received only positive comments, which confused me on my journey to figure out why so many people were obsessed with this woman. Finally, we got some cringe. Her early posts are cringy, sure, but to really get the full effect, Pixyteri began uploading videos to YouTube to an account entitled Orihime Ningyo. Sorry if I can't pronounce that. One of the first videos that she appeared in on this channel was uploaded October 22nd, 2008, titled Car Prank of Doom. And, well... Pixie would continue to upload various videos over the course of the next year of her and her friends pretending they are in real life anime characters. And every video would be downvoted to oblivion. She would eventually stop uploading to this channel and would later get another channel. Her last few videos on this channel involved a shoot at a pagoda and behind-the-scenes footage of this shoot, where Pixie was followed by two people.
It's real cute. Oh, looking about out in there and looking about, just thinking about stuff.
Her last video on this channel would be the most viewed video on the channel, and it consisted of Pixyteri butchering a Japanese song by singer Utada Hikaru. It was also downvoted to oblivion. Along with Pixyteri trying to get attention from her YouTube channel, she would begin getting into Lolita. Pixyteri got into Lolita more in 2008, and her early outfits were not terrible or unflattering, in my opinion. I'm not that into Lolita fashion. And she mostly received positive comments. Pixie would receive the first wave of hate shortly after this, however, getting noticed by the live journal Get Off EGL on November 23, 2008. This was because Pixyteri had posted to the EGL Community Live Journal some of her Lolita artwork and requested that nobody criticized her. This is a general no-go. Sure, it's one thing to post something to your own journal and to request no criticism, which still kind of comes off as dumb if you're posting stuff publicly, but she posted to a community journal. It came off as her just wanting pats, which is the only reason Pixie posts online anyways. She will do mediocre and passable work, and when anyone says, hey, here's a way to improve, she melts down. The Get Off EGL, or Elegant Gothic Lolita, community live journal posted links to her artwork, writing, "Don't crit my ugly anime drawings. I really don't like them, and so I'm bitching about it here. Also, sorry for this is OMG. Edit. At least it's better than her other art. Edit 2. Boo-hoo, people gave me crit last time that I already knew. Edit 3. Remember it lets us in on what Pixyteri is really like. Edit 4. She's crying, guys. Final edit. I'm going offline for the night. I kept the main post, but not the comments. So if those are gone, they're gone. The real final edit. Guys, don't go to a personal journal or her DA and bug her. This resulted in nearly 300 comments picking the young woman apart and cemented her as someone the community of EGL would find laughable. Because of this, Pixyteri began to ban people from her own live journal. Probably a good idea if you don't like people publicly talking about you is to put your social media on lockdown and just interact with friends. It's not a bad idea. Being a public figure is not for everyone. This initial event blew over. I'm not sure if other drama happened to cause this as well. Again, a lot of Pixyteri before 2012 is lost to time, and even more is lost during a different arc of her online presence, during the Stamina Rose arc. But we'll get to there when we get there. I don't think there's any official Pixtorians, as there are Christorians, you know, the people who catalog Christian, so I'm piecing together this story as best as I can, as I explored the Church of Pixyteri. The Lolita community would continue to dislike Pixie. The Get Off EGL live journal posted one of the grossest things I saw during my research. Apparently, Pixie's no-no photos got leaked, and on September 12, 2009, the Get Off EGL live journal posted the nudes with the tags, "Really lame," and "What a skank." Most comments wondered why the Lolita community would spread possible revenge. But with my limited knowledge of Lolita, it's a bitchy community. One person in the comments wrote, "From what I gather from CGL, there is a large distaste for Pixyteri in the cosplay communities, as well as Anon Lolitas talking about her too. It's really unfortunate though that someone, I assume with no reason other than to stir up, felt that the EGL community would want to see these." Again, I want to add that it's hard to pinpoint when CGL discovered Pixyteri, because I legitimately could not find any archives from CGL before the year 2012. Anyways, 4 days later, Get Off EGL would again mock the young lady for her Lolita outfits, posting, "It still doesn't fit you. Pixyteri, that don't fit." Then they posted a link to one of her Lolita meetups, and continued to write, "And don't get me started on the others. Meetup of fail." Okay. Edit 2. Bro, my bros. Sorry for the kind of fail post, XD. I have been sad lately. Okay, feel bad for me. And to be fair, the Lolita community, at least around this time, was pretty negative towards anyone. I read about a total storm that happened because the community on CGL didn't like some girl's jacket. It's just what these girls do, I guess. I don't agree with it. I think it's just a dress. But hey, that's why I'm not into it. But Pixie kept on with her Japan Idol dreams, and on November 5th, 2009, she applied to a program called JET that would get her to Japan. And sometime around this time, she began a job as a substitute teacher. You might still be confused as to why Pixie is considered a lolcow. I mean, she posted some cringy weeb videos in 2008, she gets mad when people give her advice, and she wears some clothes that aren't super amazing. Yeah, I was confused too. This is a lolcow that has 2 Kiwi farm threads, launched 2 gossip websites, and is still discussed in many different niche gossip forums on the internet to this day. I do believe a lot of the early stuff is, again, lost to time. But let's continue on my journey to figure out why this woman became so popular. So 2009 ends, and she still isn't that interesting. She probably posted some more cosplay that is cringe, and probably continues to do so. With 2010, Pixie was rejected from the JET program, and was obviously very upset. Also around this time, Pixyteri gets a Tumblr, which is now deleted, and not archived, much like every other Pixyteri account. I do remember laughing at her DeviantArt posts back in the day. I feel so sad no one archived them. But to be honest, the cringy cosplay she would post there, not the worst I've ever seen when I go to an anime convention. I'd say the year 2010 is the one where Pixyteri completely jumped into being a weeb. This is the year that she decided to give herself a Japanese name, Sarah Yukiko. And Miss Terry began getting more attention around this time, as she posted more and more photos of herself to gain attention and a following. So maybe someday she can become an idol in Japan. As said before, her DeviantArt is completely wiped from the internet, but one screenshot from 2010 still remains, dated June 28, 2010. Pixie posted a picture of herself in a bathing suit. Underneath, a rude commenter, referred to as haters by Pixie, responded to the picture with, "What's up with the extra set of boobs under your first pair?" To which Pixyteri responded,
Ugh, those aren't boobs. Those are lines from working out.
This simple back and forth became a meme on many different image boards, often having the bros over on Fit making jokes about Pixie's workout lines. The moment was iconic, and is one of the most memeable things Pixyteri has done. 2010 was a different time. With more attention to Pixie, it seems people began to Photoshop her to make her appear more attractive to the various posters who made fun of her. Pixie was not happy about this, posting often to her live journal that she was already extremely beautiful. I'm not here to say Pixyteri is ugly, as beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but the problem that people had with Pixie is that she took the most unflattering photos, and would act as if any criticism early on were people being haters. This led to more people wanting to troll the young woman. Instead of backing down, Pixie would demand that she is indeed beautiful and curvy, and definitely not plus-sized. Pixie was extremely delusional, especially about her size. Again, I'm not doing this to insult her looks per se, but she often poorly recorded her measurements and would buy clothes about 3 sizes too small, and then pose on camera with the zipper wide open. This whole thing would cause cosplay and Lolita enthusiasts to watch this in fascination, because why would this adult woman parade herself so badly dressed online? Pixyteri iconically responded to all criticism of her size on July 30th, 2010 with,
I'm sick of people telling me what I am and what I am not, what I can and cannot do. I'm a beautiful woman. I'm curvy. I do not consider myself big, nor a ham beast. I'm sure I'm going to get negative comments, but so be it. I am sexy. I am able to go to Japan. They will not call me a fat old white lady. I will succeed.
And in the comments, she further wrote,
I will, but it hurts. I'm sick of haters telling me I can't when I know I can. So what if I'm curvy? I'm not fat, and if Japan thinks I am, that's their problem for wanting tiny, shapeless women. What about their anime characters? What a contradiction. It's sick.
But Pixie was the victim of only herself. There were multiple screenshots circulating of her insulting other women and their bodies, in obvious jealousy. She responded to the criticism that she got offended by negative comments, yet said stuff about other women herself with a journal entry from September 12, 2010, writing,
If anyone has heard anything about me insulting girls of different body types, smaller or larger, disregard it. It is a lie. I would never do something like that. Everyone is beautiful in their own way. It's me that is insecure and wants to be the best I can and lose more weight. So that's no way an insult to anyone, just a personal discretion about my body.
And in the comments, she responded to a deleted comment by saying that she was probably in a bad mood when she wrote the nasty comments, and continued,
I am better without bullshit drama for sure, but it always comes back. I just wanted to attempt to clear my name because I honestly forgot about that comment. Normally, I wouldn't say things like that.
Again, a lot of these early interactions are gone now. I cannot say whether or not the backlash and the drama Pixie had been involved in was purely her fault. Surely, it doesn't help to keep posting badly posed photos and saying negative comments to other women. But nowadays, there are plenty of delusional people that would never get the amount of attention Pixie got back in the day. I mostly chalk this up as a sign of the time. Also around this time, I saw the first mention of her in Encyclopedia Dramatica. The Encyclopedia Dramatica community will be a great source of her infamy, along with CGL, though the article written on her won't become large until the next year. 2010 closes out, and I want to note a post on December 22nd, 2010, where Pixie asks about something called gravure. I might be saying that wrong. According to Urban Dictionary, a gravure idol is a Japanese female model who primarily models in magazines, especially those marketed to men, photo books, or DVDs. Gravure idols, in most cases, emphasize their sexual attractiveness and often model in swimsuits. And looking at photos of gravure models, this definition seems fairly correct. I might be wrong, so let me know in the comments. But this is the first mention of gravure from Pixyteri that I could find, and gravure modeling would become a focus of Pixyteri in the later years. 2011 is when Pixie Mania really ramped up. Pixie really upped her desire to go to Japan that year and posted more and more on her DeviantArt, begging for money and being mocked by curious onlookers, most likely from Encyclopedia Dramatica and CGL. The Encyclopedia Dramatica, or ED for short, article was written around the beginning of the year, summing up the woman by writing, Pixyteri is a 30-year-old American cosplayer. She is a shapely, sexy, and cute woman, and wants you all to know about it. This article intends to document her success and the development of her career as a kawaii pop idol in Japan. The article would build on itself more and more over the course of the year as Pixie tried harder and harder to defend herself and prove she is a beautiful, curvy, sexy cosplayer. At the beginning of the year, shortly after the first mentions of the ED article, Pixie decided to take a break to let all the drama blow over. And her hiatus and avoidance of drama seemed to have somewhat worked, as I did not find any more posts about her until the 5th month of 2011, where she posted to her journal multiple times. First, telling her followers that she has never posted to 4chan, aka the CGL boards, writing,
I did not post in cams and meetups on 4chan. I've never posted on 4chan, more or less visit. I hide from that place, as I know they troll me and post me quite often, especially on CGL. So, please don't take anything on the thread seriously. Don't know what was posted, and I don't care to know. Just writing this to let everyone know that I have never posted on 4chan or visit, so it was not me. Thanks, guys. However, if you want to message me, I'm always open to new friends. Pixie_Terry at hotmail.com or MSN or Chappy Pastu on AIM. Arigato ni!
Though, someone who was allegedly her would post on CGL later on in this year. The attention Pixyteri was getting from online trolls seemed to have affected her, because over the next few months of this year, Pixie posted multiple times about being depressed, feeling fat, hiding from DeviantArt, and more. And on June 27th, 2011, an absolute gem was posted to the CGL message board. Behind the scenes, it seemed, at least judging from posts, many women from CGL attempted to befriend Pixie to get information about her. She was a weird fascination all these girls had. And one person posted a conversation with Pixie that we'll call the famous wind chime chat log, in which Pixie tells the troll that she's talking to that she believed her father was not her real father because she was convinced she was truly Japanese. She believed that her real father was Japanese because she had an Asian wind chime in her backyard, and she convinced herself that her mother had cheated on her father with a Japanese businessman, and that is why she likes anime and soy sauce so much, because she was truly half Japanese. Pictures of this wind chime were also shared on other social media, and people who knew the characters said it appeared to be some Chinese symbol for table or something that probably some white manufacturer made because it looked pretty. Pixyteri's delusions became very apparent here. Pixyteri was basically transracial. In another post, date unknown, she told whoever the audience was that she knew she had to be some kind of Asian because when she is shopping for food, she is drawn to soy sauce and not the Cajun food. Yeah, that's right. Fun fact. Pixyteri's real last name is Cajun, and she would call herself Cajun rather than Cajun. And when people called her white, she demanded to be called Caucasian because it had Asian in it. Pixyteri's depression continued over the year, up until her birthday. Pixie legend tells of a birthday when she bought an entire cookie cake and ate it on camera on a website called TinyChat. TinyChat is an online chat website that allows users to communicate via instant messaging, voice chat, and video chat. It was really popular back in the day. The cookie cake night was a night of legend. From what I hear of it, she ate an entire cookie cake and it drank like a huge thing of iced tea by herself. People said it was like at least 4,000 calories. While she cried, apparently. Yeah. And also, I do believe, over the year, Pixyteri continued to go on TinyChat for attention from her growing fan base of haters. Pixyteri must have gotten really popular on image boards around this time. I saw memes about her on Fit that I mentioned earlier. Let me read a few. These are from August 23rd, 2011.
At the gym, laughing .jpg everywhere. Ask them what they're laughing at. Your fat stomach is so fat that it's coming out from under your size XXL shirt, LOL. That's not fat. Those are lines from working out. Them both right then and there thanks to this gym of a line.
Here's another one from the same day.
See 1 out of 10 land whale riding her rascal scooter down the street. Start following her. The thing could only go 3 miles per hour, LOL. Say, hey fatty, fat, why don't you slow down and save some fuel for the rest of us? She says nothing. I repeat, hey, Chubsy Wubsy, you hear what I said? I said, save some fuel for the rest of us, LOL. She says, nothing. Hey, Ambulocetus, your arms get any fatter, you're gonna have to get cut out of that moo-moo, LOL. Stops rascal. Gets up, starts walking towards me. Grabs my shirt by the collar. Pulls me close. I think she'll eat me. Whispers in my ear. That's not fat. Those are lines from working out. She lets me go. I f*** her right then and there. Orgasmed 4 times. And now, the beast, she slumbers.
Not only that, people on CGL were writing fanfiction about her. And next came what I believe was considered the golden age of Pixyteri drama, I think. I know there was a golden age referenced on message boards, and judging from memes, I believe this golden age was during 2011. A lot of this year is missing, but because of what went on this year, Pixyteri's Encyclopedia Dramatica page became the feature page of the website for 2 days in November. This 2012 post from a CGL archive kind of sums up how and why Pixyteri was found, and the whole culture in following her. One person asked if the only sin Pixyteri did was self-posting on CGL, to which one user writes, she didn't post here until after CGL found her on some other website, LiveJournal or something. She did the whole come to CGL to try to defend yourself thing. I've never personally harassed her, but I have participated in these threads because I'm a terrible person, and I don't know what's rustling your jimmies, because you stalk Spoonie everywhere. And another anonymous person, who was critical of the CGL users, wrote, wow, look at how all cosplayers are small-minded, clicky that do little more than pick on other they judge to be inferior. How sad. To which someone else responded, you're just learning this now? And another person writes, you must be new here. Finally, let's go into this Encyclopedia Dramatica article in detail. The intro to this article read, Introduction to Pixie Desu. Pixyteri began as an anime-loving young child, with an obsession for Japanese video games and Rumiko Takahashi. Forced to tan at a young age by her mother, she developed an aversion to looking white, and desires to look Asian at all times. During high school, her mother forced her to ingest tanning pills, now found to be detrimental to health, in order to further yellow her complexion, which has caused psychological dysfunction in her brain meats. She now believes her skin to be of natural Asian coloring, leading her to question her ethnicity. Is she white or Asian? Despite holding a bachelor's degree in English and communications, her dream career is to be a singer, professional cosplayer, being an idol in Japan, or working as a model in the fashion industry. Her quest for stardom, coupled with her love of Japanese culture, means logically that she can become a kawaii Japanese idol. Desu, 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 desu. These things are never going to happen. Pixyteri also decided that her real name was too too white for her liking. In order to become a kawaii idol in Japan and an internet-famous Lolita, she needed a new name that portrayed her cute spirit and Asian ancestry. After casting a vote from a few options, she decided the name Sarah Yukiko and has since changed her Facebook name to align with this new identity. However, as of late, she has been contemplating changing names again because her friends totally told her Yukiko was an old-fashioned name in Japan. OMG! Current potential names include Seiyuki, Sayori, Sarah Sayu, or Sarah Hiromi. She eventually settled on Sarah Misao after being told that Sarah Yukiko sounded too old school. LiveJournal friends compared the name to Mary Sue. Pixyteri is aware of this article and wants it taken down because she considers it slanderous and totally not kawaii at all. So the next time someone tries to wipe this article, you know it's just one of her online boyfriends failing at the internet again. Disclaimer: none of these screen caps of her LiveJournal/DeviantArt are edited or altered in any way. Only the hilarious photos of her are shooped for the lulz. Lately, instead of cosplaying or wearing Lolita, she's been doing photo shoots, most of which are hilariously bad and can be found in the gallery section. She attended IkiCon, where a bunch of 4chaners were planning to attack, but realized it was futile, and really generally felt sorry for her. If you meet her in person, you can truly see how f***ed up she really is, and how f***ing short she is, about 5'1". The rest of the article goes more into the delusion I've briefly touched on, and includes some information that will come later on in the timeline. But also, there included a lot of messages from her now deleted DeviantArt. Pictures of her asking for money but not wanting to work, as well as screenshots of her being clueless about world events. Soon, around the time this article got featured, Pixyteri went on another one of her Tiny Chat streams. This is the only Tiny Chat stream that has footage still existing today, and it was apparently legendary. I'm going to need to give some backstory for this. Remember how Pixyteri is convinced she's Asian, right? Well, apparently she wanted to make her hair look as dark as possible to look Asian, but her mother banned this mid-20-something-year-old lady from dyeing her hair anymore. Someone had told Pixyteri that by not washing her hair, she could make her hair appear darker. Not only that, but people told Pixie that Japanese people do not shower and only take steam baths, resulting in Pixie most likely not being the cleanest. In early photos of her, she seemed fairly clean and whatnot, but since her beginning up until now, with the delusion of her heritage, or heritage-u, as trolls would call it, Pixie began to look, well, greasy. And people's suspicions of Pixyteri's poor hygiene were confirmed one fateful night on Tiny Chat, when she got online for sympathy, crying.
I don't know why they have to yell.
And in the background, you can hear her mom screaming at her to clean herself. And saying that even animals clean themselves. Meanwhile, on the stream, fans of the Church of Pixyteri were trying to cheer her up.
Hey Pixie. Pixie. You should probably get out the house for a while.
They don't even care about my feelings. They just... You don't see any fans of that church who live in a penthouse. I'm not gonna have my house snow. You want to think up something? Go think up something else.
Jesus Christ.
Things really ramped up from here. People who knew Pixie in real life began to come to CGL to tell stories of her. One coworker wrote a Q&A on November 28, 2011. A friend of hers also came to the forum to defend her about her ex. I think there were more people who knew her, who came out to bring more drama during this time. And judging by the limited information I could find about this time, it must have been insane. There were rumors circulating about tales of sexual escapades. There were people contacting her family and sending them nudes. Someone even said someone contacted her father's work. I do believe that trolls had been speaking to her to get nudes, much like people had done to Christian on the other side of the internet, and proceeded to leak them so everyone could mock her. The drama with Pixie became so big over at CGL that they even made her a theme song. The theme song was uploaded to YouTube December 7th, 2011.
Wake up in the morning, Pixyteri's my name.
up,
I'm
seagulls?
cosplay clad. My mom is mad cause I forgot to bathe. Before I leave, rub some cheese in the crack of my cause they won't know that I'm white if I look yellow from the back. I'm talking about straps sticking in my rolls. Mom begging me to change my clothes. Block blowing up from trolls. Watch bleach and haters are gonna hate me. Wind chimes tell my history. I know that I'm beautiful and sexy. Won't stop, buttons pop.
Want no one take shampoo?
Jesus Christ, get a life. Those are just my workout lines. Off, now you're blocked. I am just beginning to shine. Won't stop, buttons pop.
Want no one take shampoo?
Jesus Christ, get a life. Those are just my workout lines. Off, now you're blocked. I am just beginning to shine.
Oh, I mean.
Pixie even allegedly came to CGL to defend herself before the end of the year. It ended up being more of a Q&A with everyone from CGL really excited to get to talk to her, and it was kind of nice. But shortly after that, on December 22nd, 2011, the golden age was cut short. Pixyteri deleted everything. Her Twitter, her DeviantArt, and her photo bucket. All were gone. Here is a quote from her.
I've come to a few decisions regarding my life. They are not easy decisions, but it is in my best interest. One deals with DA, the other with cosplay. I'm not going to be cosplaying anymore. Fashion, school uniforms, kimonos, Lolita, I will be continuing because it's too important to me. And I'll also be able to study Japanese easier with no distractions. It's hard, but I know what I must do.
The golden age of Pixyteri drama, or what I think the golden age was, seemed to be over. 2012 was pretty empty for public Pixie posts. I think some people dug through her Facebook and got a bunch of posts between her and a guy named James, who I believe she was kind of sort of dating at the time, and he was significantly younger than hers. Legend says he treated her like crap. Legend also says she worked as a 911 dispatcher during this time, but apparently was either let go or quit because she couldn't eat snacks at her desk. These are all legends. I don't completely trust hearsay. After months of drought from the Queen of CGL, it seemed like her photo bucket came back. Around June 16, 2012, CGL celebrated. Their queen had returned. Someone on CGL properly described what was happening on the board. They wrote, "She left us, and everybody suddenly loves her. I'm not criticizing. I love her too." Now, why had she left the internet? It sounded like she was tired of the drama her existence caused, simply by wanting to shine and follow her dreams. Someone on CGL posted this on September 29, 2012. I don't even know where to begin. Remember earlier this year, when Sarah completely dropped off the map and shut down all her online accounts? It was actually because she'd been barred from posting online by her family, primarily her mother. Her mother and various other members of her family, including a sister-in-law who isn't even related by blood, had all been receiving weird emails containing messages of abuse and images of Sarah's nudes. You all remember the video that had been recorded the night Sarah was in Tiny Chat and started to cry because her mom was yelling at her to take a bath? Somebody emailed a copy of it to her mother, and a few others sent her messages of hate over Facebook, and her mother absolutely flipped the out that Sarah had broadcasted it online, allowed it to be recorded, and was now being painted as an abusive parent. There was a huge fight between Sarah and her parents. At one point, Sarah apparently screamed at her father that he wasn't even her real dad. Hit the fan. She barred Sarah from publishing any more details about their life online, or taking any more pictures of herself and uploading them to DeviantArt, which is why all her latest pictures have been photographed inside her room, or outside around the city. She had actually been sneaking out with her costumes in a bag, changing into them outside, and then taking pictures. Her mom removed the computer that was in Sarah's room, and threatened that if she caught her taking pictures of herself or posting online, that she would be thrown out the house. The vacation they took to Vegas was actually scheduled so close to San Japan, so that they could try and keep Sarah from attending, as they're trying to move her away from her obsession with anime and Asia, and get her involved with the real world. The sister-in-law that I mentioned before, who some of you probably remember used to post here as Neon, is married to one of Sarah's older brothers. She had been asked to keep an eye on Sarah, since she spent a lot of time online herself, and Sarah knows this, which is why she hates her so much. The sister-in-law was keeping an eye on her, and not reporting anything back, since Sarah wasn't seen to be taking any more photos of herself. But the sister-in-law does actually lurk CGL, and after she saw that Sarah was sending pictures of herself to people over Skype, she was forced to inform Debbie, and now Sarah is in the shit again. Judging from archive posts, Pixyteri's Twitter also seemed to come back, and screen caps of her being bitter began to be posted to CGL to gossip about. And people began to speculate about who she was dating and who she was talking about in various tweets, as if she were a character in some drama. I'm guessing her Facebook was also opened back up to the public, because soon shots of her and her outfits began to be posted to CGL for the users to laugh at. I believe, according to legend, Pixie would accept any and most friend requests from total strangers, and the ladies of CGL missed their queen and flocked to follow her anywhere they could. She no longer used LiveJournal, her DeviantArt was gone, but at this time they had Twitter, Facebook, and Photobucket to enjoy the Desu Kawaii Princess Idoru of CGL. Pixie's mom continued to be judgmental of Pixie's desire to be a cosplay queen, and online trolls continued to try to contact Pixie's mom of her new online behavior. A lot of the stuff, though, was kind of nitpicky. She just cosplayed, she had boy troubles, but CGL had become absolutely enamored with this woman, so they just posted everything they could about her online presence. Rumors started spreading around the end of October of the year that James had left her, and soon Pixie started going back on TinyChat, and her fans swarmed around her and tried to convince her to wear skimpier clothes on camera. They wanted to see more of their queen. People just kept making new threads on Pixie, and people would respond to these new threads on Pixie about how threads targeting Pixie would now get you banned. One event that I found funny in 2012 was that Pixie didn't win a Halloween costume contest at a gay bar, so she took her pro-LGBT bumper sticker off her car. She tends to think small things like these are slights against her personally. In November after this, Pixie's stardom reached the real world outside CGL, as one poster found a reference to her at a bookstore in the manga section underneath the Bleach mangas, which wrote, "Addictive, endorsed by Pixyteri." Pixyteri's infamy would continue to grow outside of the internet, inside the otaku world. There was another post to CGL in November about when Pixie went to the Renaissance Festival, and an excited poster talked about spotting her outside in the wild. These people were hooked. The posters over at CGL seem to have changed from disliking her to liking her. Here's a beautiful post about her from November 11th, 2012. One person writes,
"Yes, I tell a story now. Long ago, a girl child was born in the land of the rising sun to the emperor and his waifu. She was revered across the lands for her beauty and noble heritage, but the peace that surrounded the child's birth was soon broken by a terrible monster, Gojira. He ravaged the noble kingdom of Mochi, and so to protect their kingdom's future, they sent their child to the land of the freedom burgers, Murderer, to live out her life until one day she may return to her native lands. As a single token of her true self, they left her a single trinket, the Huri Rinchaimu no Harataji. The child was cursed with a filthy gaijin named Sarah, but she has gone back to her Nipponese name, Pixyteri Sama. She does have vague memories of her early life in Nippon, and knows somewhat her filthy gaijin family is not her own. Pixyteri Sama has already begun to shine, and will one day become a beautiful idol and a Miko warrior. She will have to face the son of Godzilla in battle to take back her lands. She has faced many trials to become that great warrior. She went through times of hunger when local Chinese buffet closed down for 2 weeks, and the trial of no bath ducky time, as one would expect from a noble warrior Miko Ohime-sama. One day our unworthy eyes will witness her greatness. Until that day, the great warrior will train, do crunches, and eat her native foods to cleanse her body. She looks towards the Hurley Winchamu no Heritaji that she's hung serenely on her back porch and waits.
Someone would later post that year on why Pixyteri can't escape her infamy on the internet, writing, "Of course, who's saying Pixyteri doesn't shoulder responsibility in all this lolcowness, but making her profiles private wouldn't help. Even her close friends find their way into CGL to mock her, and post things that ought to be private. It's anonymous, so they're off the hook. So privatizing anything would be pointless, and she knows it. That's why everything's public. Now, if she would actually stop uploading photos, that would be a start. But let's face it, even if she posts a normal photo of herself, no gravure or cosplay, or weeaboo she attributes attached, CGL would still rip that photo apart. She can't win. people have taken it too far already. And even if she makes an attempt to be normal, people will still rip that attempt to shreds. If I remember correctly, she got a job as a clerk or a bookkeeper, and the information was passed all over CGL. What was the point of that? She finally takes a mature leap, and people feel the need to nitpick at it? I can kind of understand why PT might think any attempt at decency would be a futile effort. CGL picks apart everything she does, whether it's normal or not. Days later, another member of the board informed posters that they tried to get Dr. Phil to have Pixyteri on the show. Not much else happens throughout 2012. There were allegedly other Chan boards used to talk about Pixyteri, as CGL began banning threads about her, no doubt due to the volume. But these new boards seem to be gone now. With the year 2013 coming, Pixyteri threads were eventually altogether wiped from CGL. CGL got new rules about no longer creating threads to target individuals. The new rule involving this read, "Don't bring community vendettas onto this board. Singling out individual cosplayers for the purpose of trolling them will not be tolerated." Pixyteri continued to do what Pixyteri does, barely paying attention to the drama communities following her. I found a post from around January 13th, 2013, where Pixyteri posted a Craigslist looking for romance. In the ad, she talked about how she had nude photos of her online that her ex had posted, and wrote that she had learned from her past mistakes. The Craigslist ad was taken down for posting pictures of her butt. Just typical Pixyteri stuff. She's amusing but mostly harmless. The first new place to discuss Pixyteri and her antics outside of CGL popped up on March 13th, 2013, and that place was on Kiwi Farms. Kiwi Farms is a gossip forum that focuses on eccentric individuals on the internet. This Pixyteri thread was one of 2 threads of her on the site, and this first one was set up back when Kiwi Farms was the Quickie Forums. It used to be called the Quickie Forums because it was centered around talking about Chris Chan. And Quickie was short for Christian Weston Chandler. Pixyteri seemed to be on lockdown on Twitter after this, but people began to post her tweets to Kiwi Farms and Tumblr of her talking about how she was trying to learn Japanese still, and that her mom filled out her job applications. This was of course truly fascinating. At this time, Kiwi Farms would post content from a now deleted message board called Maximum.f, where they also discussed Pixyteri. There it seemed Pixie had been hospitalized at the end of March. A new player came into the Pixie scene, Mitchell Verley. This small YouTuber began posting videos cosplaying as Pixie. They posted their first Pixie video on June 5th, 2013, entitled Pixyteri Says, where they mocked various Pixieisms, such as telling fans to stop emailing her mom her nudes.
"Dear Twitter followers, please stop emailing my mom my nudes. That was a long time ago. I'm different. I changed."
A joke about her and her cat.
"Where are you trying to go? Excuse me? It's called Hello Kitty, not Bye Bye Kitty. No!
A gag about her workout lines.
And those were just my workout lines.
Another gag on how in a lot of her photos it looks like she's pooping.
23 comments already? Oh my gosh, okay. Number 1, it looks like she's pooping. I am not pooping! I am a modern day geisha!
They had the classic joke about the wind chimes.
And that's how I know I'm Japanese, because of the wind chimes. Jenny, you're supposed to ring the wind chimes right now! You just ruined my video!
They joked about how she doesn't buy clothes in her size.
It only comes in extra small? Whatever, it'll fit me. I'm gonna buy it anyways. It's too small. No! I'm totally extra small. I can fit this!
Also, that she blocks all her haters.
Oh, now they're blocked!
And that she doesn't bathe.
I'm not taking a bath.
You stink.
I don't. I'm just trying to stay naturally beautiful. The grease in my hair is just for preservation.
Then go sleep outside.
I'm not sleeping outside. You don't understand me, Mom.
Sarah, stop your whining.
I don't know how to make her stop.
I just listed some of the funny ones, and the funniest part is how the YouTube video ends. And it ends with Mitchell being tied up in the shower, as if someone had to tie up and gag Pixyteri to force her to bathe, because she smelled so bad. Pixyteri would later say she really found these videos upsetting, which I understand, to be honest. It's funny, but it's not nice. Meanwhile, over on Twitter, Pixie posted from her private account in May describing how disgusting women in are, which is kind of hypocritical for someone who was so mad at people for calling her gross years before. She even said she wouldn't apologize for saying this, because no one would apologize to her. The next month, another forum to talk about Pixyteri was created. This one was called Stamina Rose, and it seemed to be the new hotspot after CGL banned discussion. Kiwi Farms wasn't as popular to talk about Pixie at this time, as I believe it was a devoted Christian forum. Sadly, Stamina Rose has no archives of it left over. We'll talk about the grand exodus of Stamina Rose in a bit. Pixyteri would continue to be increasingly well known throughout the anime-loving community, and on August 19, 2013, the same cosplayer from the Pixyteri Says video entered their cosplay of Pixyteri to a worst cosplay contest. The reception was great.
I'm gonna try to sing for you my favorite song. I don't care about anything you say. I hate that joy. I hate that joy.
And they even won. Pixie wasn't just some niche thing a few people knew about. She set out to be well known for cosplay, and in a way, she kind of was. At least better known than most cosplayers out there. I'll bet maybe not in the way she originally intended, but now she was being discussed on many different platforms, like a real Japanese idol. But apparently Pixie did not like her newfound fame, and sometime around August 30th, 2013, she went on one of her classic tiny chat streams, and began showing her fans that she was taking down her Japanese stuff. According to Encyclopedia Dramatica, this is a description of the events. In late 2013, Pixyteri suffered one of her signature mental breakdowns and opened a tiny chat where everyone is invited to watch her cry and remove the traditional Japanese decorations from her room. She said her heritage would never be recognized. She was fat and white and would never visit Japan. These statements would have been a strange moment of clarity for Pixie if they weren't clearly just made to fish for compliments. Drama would continue with Pixyteri and be cataloged on Stamina Rose. There was also talks of a possible Pixyteri wiki in the making, which seems to be gone now. And the year 2013 would end, with Pixyteri deleting her Twitter and disappearing once more. Sad artwork was created for those of her fans that missed her. I suppose Pixie eventually came back to Twitter because on the first day of 2014, Sarah decided to start a new year by telling someone their cosplay sucked, and then shut down her Twitter again. Also in the January of 2014, some jerk from Kiwi Farms decided to take their following of Pixyteri online to offline, and began to try to get her fired from her job at Home Depot, where she was working at the time. The individual wrote on January 9th, 2014, "So apparently some guys from Home Depot's corporate office are aware of Pixyteri's bullshit, but aren't going to act upon it unless she starts about work online while on the clock again. In their words, her Twitter account is closed, so we think that the issue may have resolved itself." Pixie's cosplays, over the course of this year, well, kind of take a downfall. And not only was she uploading increasingly cringy cosplay, sometime around February, she began to post lewd photos of her doing age play cosplay. Null, the owner of Kiwi Farms, even commented on this on February 25th, 2014, writing, "Sent to me by an anonymous benefactor. Pixyteri appears to be continuing her usual trend of upping the ante on how unattractive one woman can be. I believe the theme was supposed to be adult baby, so as one can imagine, eating is ill-advised while opening the spoiler, and attached with several images of Pixyteri in what appeared to be children's undergarments." Around this time, Pixie's mom got a DNA test. The results of the DNA test were not posted, but a conversation between Pixie and an undercover hater was leaked. In the conversation, Pixie is pretty upset that she was 98% European, 1% West Asian, and 1% African. Pixie's dreams of being Japanese were being crushed. But strangely enough, later on in 2015, someone who knew her came forward and said that as of May of 2015, Pixie still believed that her real father was Japanese, and the DNA test was a lie. Soon after this, in March, it seemed Pixie had decided she also hated bleach. The kawaii desu cosplay otaku queen was losing her Japanese kawaiiness. CGL continued to nostalgia post about her. The Pixyteri Says person, Mitchell Verley, also came back with their final Pixyteri video on March 13th by doing a music video to Avril Lavigne's Hello Kitty song. Mitchell Verley would leave the Pixyteri cosplaying behind. Now they are a drag queen with over 100,000 followers on Instagram and appeared on RuPaul Drag Race Canada Season 1. Yeah, I'm surprised too. Just a fun fact there. I think that's them. They have the same last name, and I saw comments on their videos saying that this is where they ran off to. Back to Pixyteri. It seems from responses on Kiwi Farms, she definitely hated Japan now. Not only did Pixyteri find out that she was not part Japanese, but sometime around this time, I believe Pixyteri found out that Tite Kubo, the author of Bleach, had gotten married. Kubo was her ideal husbando, and now she could not have him. She hated Bleach and anime now. Sometime also in March, or around this time, a new player in the Pixie universe came out. Someone that Stamina Rose would call Brit. We will just call him Brit or British guy, so I don't have to keep censoring that second part. Remember him. He will become important. After the revelation of the existence of Brit, Pixyteri deleted her Facebook around March 25th, and people would only be able to keep up with her via her photo bucket uploads. Pixie posted quite a lot of photos to this account, very awkward photos and weird poses. Legend tells it that Pixyteri's photographer is not a person, but instead one known as Tripod San. Someone came to the Kiwi Farms on April 15th to give more info on Pixyteri and her family's reactions to her online interaction, writing, "Here's some info I picked up on Pixie from another forum. Don't know how legit it is or not, but it sounds reasonable. The thing is, family members have told her to stop and look at herself. Her mother even said to her a few months ago, 'You're not the size you think you are,' and even bought her some plus-sized items. Of course, PT got mad. Even dumber is that she was mad that they fit. Her mom tried her best to limit PT's internet exposure and disapproves of her buying cosplay and Lolita junk behind her back when she's supposed to be paying off her hospital bills, since she's a hypochondriac. The first step that her mom took years ago was making her delete her DeviantArt account. The second was to deactivate her Facebook and Twitter accounts. But we all know how well that worked out, because she just came back to all the accounts, minus DeviantArt, even worse than before, crazier than before. There was even a time when PT's older brothers often move in to help her mom and Papa PT, since PT herself is so f***ing crazy. Then her other brother and sister-in-law tried to get involved. Her sister-in-law basically monitors the internet to make sure that she doesn't make too much of an of herself. Obviously, she doesn't have much control over that, seeing as how PT kept tweeting about that James guy, on and on. It was cringeworthy to watch. It felt like an ugly old woman lusting after a teenage boy. It's been what feels like ages, and she's still not over that buddy. And of course, there was the recent Huzubando rant she had on Facebook about how she wants a man that'll basically bend over backwards for her, enable her delusional fantasies, let her spend all his money and whatnot, saying this is the only man she'd be willing to change for. I don't see how in she would change seeing these requirements. Of course, she wants a handsome Japanese man, or a white guy that looks like one of her anime characters. Seeing as how she's quite ugly and puts zero effort into her appearance, this man never has and never will exist. Anyway, she's a lost cause. Along with posting pics online for her followers to gawk at, more and more people began to interact with her, most likely via Skype. My theory here is a lot of trolls want to get entertainment out of Pixie, much like people got from the lolcow Christian. One person begged her for inappropriate pictures, and apparently there were tons of new inappropriate pictures being leaked because of these interactions. Eventually, Null, the owner of Kiwi Farms, posted all the leaks that various people trolled Pixie online for, resulting in horror on the Kiwi Farms. I don't know what the reaction of the users of Stamina Rose were like during this time, due to its sudden closure, and nothing being archived. Someone named the PT Nude Repository began posting to another gossip site, most likely Stamina Rose, judging by the screen caps, to talk about information they got from Pixie from their trolling. They posted about disgusting and embarrassing chats they had. One sad report from Repository read, "She is mentally ill, very depressed, and has horrible anxieties. She is also narcissistic, but also has very little self-esteem. Her life is not turning out at all like she wanted it to, so she turns deeper and deeper into unrealistic fantasies, like a rich man marrying her and moving both of them to Japan. This person also informed people of her bathing habits and reaffirmed the rumors of her not washing her hair often." A giant Skype log between a troll and Pixyteri was also dropped, but images have vanished from time because they were most likely hosted on Stamina Rose. But from reading other posts on Kiwi forums, it seems that at this point, it had become apparent that Pixyteri was being blackmailed by the British person, who was her sort of online boyfriend. Rumors began to spread that Pixyteri was being blackmailed because she engaged in inappropriate acts with someone underage. And in fear of legal repercussions from this rumor, the Pixyteri-focused gossip site, Stamina Rose, immediately shut down. Gone. No archives left of it. The premier place to talk about Pixyteri was now gone. There became a need for the refugees of Stamina Rose for a place to go. Pixyteri even bragged on Twitter about the closing of Stamina Rose. Here is a brief summary of the events thus far from an Anon. They write, "I'll give you a lowdown, Anon. PT leaves the internet. Sometime later, PTNR gives nudes, chat logs, and tales of her catfishing PT by pretending to be a kawaii Japanese husbando prince. Two guys come into Stamina Rose thread claiming to know Brit. Say Pixyteri left due to being blackmailed by Brit. Also, Brit is a member of a super secret underground gang of BDSM enthusiasts who troll and blackmail people on the internet because he is extreme, edgy, and dark. The supposed blackmail materials are images of PT molesting a girl, and that Brit conned her into doing this by saying he'd like it and put a ring on it. He totally showed his two buddies because they are like BFF 5 ever, and all had a giggle. PTNR then proceeds to drop the bomb and rightfully freak out because she could confirm that PT babysat a young girl. Cue the board freaking out, the two guys saying they were trolling, and Stamina Rose shutting down. On her old Twitter, 2 tweets were posted, hinting at the whole thing as a hoax to shut Stamina Rose down. But by then, the Twitter had technically been deleted by Twitter, due to it not being reactivated within the 30-day, I think, deactivation period. It's just a bunch of bullshit done to stir up the board. PT is a weirdo, but she's not a child. There became 2 viable options for talking about Pixyteri. First was Kiwi Farms, but a new player came on the scene, lolcow.farm. Lolcow.farm was created as a place for discussion about Pixyteri, as it was banned from CGL, and some people didn't want to gossip about Pixie on Kiwi Farms. So, if you have ever visited lolcow.farm, you would know that the one section to talk about real juicy cows is called lolcow.farm/PT. Well, the PT stands for Pixyteri. The first discussion I could find on the board was around Pixyteri's child inappropriate thing debacle. One post gave further information on the whole Stamina Rose drama, writing, "Some at Stamina Rose claimed PT did a 3-year-old. Obviously same and saying, believe what you want, but it's true. I don't care if you believe me or not. Here it is. It's true. But we have no proof because we don't want to get Brit in trouble for convincing PT to take pictures of said Some took it seriously. SR admin managed to get trolled and shut the site down because of claims of contacting PT, Interpol, and local police. Hoax outed themselves because it turns out PT does babysit, and someone threatened to call Interpol. They didn't realize PT babysat when they were fabricating the story. I don't think many Anons believed the accusations, but it was enough to get the already skittish admin to shut down shop. Other gossip sites and image boards were in a tizzy over this. Nobody knew what to do in the wake of the heinous rumors, and the now loss of a major lolcow discussion board. It's pretty disgusting someone would take harassing some internet spastic this far. Remember, these accusations have no evidence. That being said, to outsiders, these trolls were going way too far. It's one thing to follow the antics of someone online, but the amount of crap Pixyteri got on a regular basis for what? For being a weeaboo who takes bad photos was insane. I mean, now it seemed like Pixyteri was being blackmailed by this strange British fellow. This was all a result of Anons trying to get entertainment out of milking a lolcow way too seriously. Another troll came to the Kiwi Farms to give more information on the blackmailing of Pixyteri in a post that read, "The PT nude leaker troll on PT who talked to her for 3 months said that yeah, she legitimately is being blackmailed, and she's absolutely terrified of the guy. Apparently he's pretty abusive to her. That's why she looks so miserable in all the recent photo sets. The photo sets were for that guy. She didn't want to do them. I'm just so curious about what dirt he's got, and I can't believe the rumors of her sleeping with a minor have escalated so badly. A kid she was babysitting? Really?" Another post read, "The rumor was started by someone on Stamina Rose claiming to be a friend of the guy blackmailing her, and you sort of pointed out the biggest hole in this thing's logic. If someone has photos like that and are keeping them for the purpose of blackmail, revealing that they possess such photos, let alone releasing them, will get that person a charming visit from law enforcement, at the very least. Once again, I call bullshit. The troll numero uno, the one who catfished Pixyteri for months, named PTNR, finally made an appearance on Kiwi Farms to tell their side of the story. They clarified exactly what happened with Pixyteri and the whole underage thing by writing, "Hey there, I'm the person who leaked PT and caused this storm to develop, I guess. SR is down / possibly gone for good because of drama. So I thought I'd post here. There is literally no way in PT kids. I talked to her nearly daily for nearly 6 months, and I never even got so much as a hint of anything as skeezy as that. This all boils down to me mentioning that PT was indeed terrified of Brit, our name for the British dude who is blackmailing PT, revealing something about her. And I speculated that maybe PT had a 17-year-old or something because A, she's into younger men, and B, she's a huge whore. I made sure to mention there wasn't a shred of evidence for it, but that it was basically in character for her, based on the sum total of my time talking to her. She is, after all, a 30-year-old woman who says over and over that she only feels 19. But a baby? LOL, no. And anyone who believes that is dumb. And that goes doubly for the admin of SR, who basically deleted the entire site, not just the thread, not just the forum, the entire site, LMAO, because of a very obvious and pretty poorly done troll attempt. And apparently Brit's friend also revealed that the underage thing was a hoax too. Eventually the old Kiwi Farms thread for Pixyteri closed down, as it had devolved into mostly Pixyteri is fat, and I would not have sex with her. The new thread on Kiwi Farms was created June 28, 2014, writing, "If this is unnecessary, then by all means delete." But the other thread has gotten really stupid, with hundreds of pages of "Pixyteri is fat, and I would not have sex with her" comments. Pixyteri is everyone's favorite crazy weeb. I'm gonna post the most recent updates I have heard from the other thread. A user called PTNR came forward in the last thread talking about recent blackmail attempts by Brit, one of Pixyteri's love interests. The story goes that Brit is blackmailing Pixyteri into sending him a steady supply of nudes. Oh god, why? You can read all her posts on her profile linked up there, but TLDR, speculation started to go round that Brit must have had something bordering on illegal for her to keep sending him nudes. Rumors spread that it was a picture of her diddling a 3-year-old. This is not true, however. StaminaRose.org, the main image board Pixie was discussed, went down because of all the drama. I have no idea if it'll ever be up again. And the new thread had such gems as, "She's like the gender-bent version of Chris, who takes photos of herself all day. The only thing missing is that she hasn't turned into a tomboy yet." And the old thread was fat and I would not post in it. Resident Pixtorian gave more information on one of Pixie's awful dirtbag exes, Chris. There were 2 men Pixie got into dysfunctional relationships with. One was Chris and one was James. The information on Chris basically said that he used Pixyteri for physical relations, but did not like her at all, and was pretty terrible to her. The post on Chris read, "So as you can see, he's ugly as sin. He has a huge head and T-Rex arms like PT. PT told him she loved him, and he said, 'I'm sorry I only see you as a sister. I can't return those feelings.' Then he boinked her. She would also show up at his house to watch anime." Skipping further into the post about him, it read, "Chris fell in love with a redhead stripper and would talk to PT about it. This is why PT hates redheads, even to this day, long after she got over Chris." They continued to write, "He would treat her like and she would just take it because she swore up and down he looked Asian. As ugly as this guy is, even he didn't want a relationship with PT." Meanwhile, on Lolcow, an anonymous poster posted a bunch of lost media of Pixyteri. These videos consisted of Pixyteri role-playing as a Final Fantasy character and speaking bad Japanese.
Hi. Daddy.
Much cringe. Besides people gossiping about Pixyteri, Pixie herself had been very quiet at this time, not really saying much besides celebrating the death of Stamina Rose. Lolcow began making threads about missing her, and other threads to collect rare Pixie photoshops. Finally, after a while of being quiet on the internet for months, on August 2nd, 2014, Pixie posted a lot of photos to her photo bucket. Not only that, but on the 5th of August, a post of Pixie out in the wild was posted to Facebook, and it showed A, what Pixie looked like in candid photos, and B, how normal people outside of the forums also viewed the young woman in her usual attire outside in Meatspace. The rest of August 2014 was full of people posting Pixie's various uploads to her photo bucket, and excitement as they laughed at her ridiculous posing. And August 2014 ends with Pixie getting her second thread on Lolcow for people to collect the new Pixie cosplay photos. Also, funny side note, someone around this time posted to a Tumblr that I've mentioned on this channel before. The Tumblr is This Is Thin Privilege. They posted a parody post making fun of Pixyteri, This Is Thin Privilege is a Tumblr where a lot of trolls, especially from the subreddit Fat Logic, would post ridiculous stories that were obviously fake to see what they could get away with on this site. The post making fun of Pixie read, title, Thin Privilege is cosplay in Lolita. I love to cosplay, and my best and most recent cosplay was of Tifa from Final Fantasy. I also love to dress in Lolita. I've been posting my pictures in a photo bucket account and on Facebook or Twitter. I recently had to delete my Facebook and Twitter because there's a 4chan ripoff site devoted to mocking me and my photos and my personal life. I love to take sexy shots because I have a nice curvy body, and every time I take one, they mock it. I will never stop taking photos, but it still hurts to know there's a lot of people who mock me, sad face. I will never stop shining though. I've only just begun to shine, and no bullies online will ever stop that. Thin Privilege is being able to cosplay in peace without a full site making threads to mock me. Thin Privilege is also being able to be online without cyberbullies who mock you because you're fat. It's obvious that this is not Pixie posting, because Pixie would never post to a fat acceptance blog, because then it'd be like admitting she's overweight, which she will not do. Except for posting some photos online, Pixie was not doing much else to feed the trolls. But that didn't stop the conversation on the forum's favorite kawaii princess idol. I found another player in the game mentioned here affectionately referred to as PTF, or Pixyteri, who might also be the Brit guy, except some other poster on lolcow claimed that PTF actually went so far to prove that he knew Pixyteri to the Stamina Rose admins that he took photos of himself outside of Pixie's house. Discussion on Pixyteri for the rest of the year basically continued on as the same. Trolls leaked conversations that they had with Pixie, someone even made a Sims game for Pixie, and the religion of Pixyteri continued to spread. Lolcow was even rewarded with a new photo set of Pixyteri posing in a cheerleading uniform at an empty stadium. And then 2015 came. And 2015 was a year where a lot happened between Pixyteri, the followers of her church, and her trolls. This year wasn't quite the golden age of 2011 that seems to be lost to time, but since this year still exists in detail online, I got more information from it. Let's see. Another troll appeared on February 8th, 2015, named Robot Penguin, who posted to Kiwi Farms to tell everyone of all of Pixyteri's kinks that she talked in private about, but something sinister comes with it. According to this person, Pixie had become paranoid, probably due to the constant surveillance of her followers. As the troll writes, "It has gotten to the point I pity her, so I had to cut all ties. At the moment, she is worried the FBI is after her. Maybe something will happen and she will get some help. Geez, never seen someone as bad as her. I felt weird trying to act like I was into what she was into. Had to tell her to stop sending me lolicon over email." But this person didn't post any screen caps of any conversation, so take it with a grain of salt. Next, someone began to come onto lolcow and claim to have what could be called a holy grail to the Church of Pixie followers, 4 gigabytes worth of sexy PT videos. And this person began to leak small clips of the videos over the next few days. Meanwhile, Pixie was actually doing pretty okay on her end. She at some point during this year started to use a game called Line Play. Fans of hers now had a new place to follow her, other than stalking her Facebook and checking her photo bucket. There, she would post updates about her life, including that she got a new waitressing job at a Chinese restaurant. Sadly, this job didn't last, but to be fair, later on, someone who worked at the restaurant with her said Pixie wasn't that bad while working there, and it was just a really tough work environment. After losing her job at the Chinese restaurant, Pixie began posting really sad posts on Line Play. While that was happening, on the 30th of March, the guy who said he had 4 gigabytes of Pixie videos dropped them. The lolcow forum would dub this guy WebM Sama. The various threads discussing her began to thumb through these videos to laugh at this woman. But these videos actually had something sadder behind them. These videos showed how Pixyteri took her famous cosplay photos. They showed that she would go to public locations dressed in these ridiculous, often revealing outfits by herself, and would awkwardly make sure she was alone. These videos showed how she would pose in these empty locations in front of a camera on a tripod, timidly speaking to the camera in hopes to capture a super kawaii picture of herself. It painted a lonely picture.
How am I ever going to eat all this taki?
Some of these videos included her going to an empty school, possibly an elementary school, and posing sexually as a Japanese preschooler. Not only that, in one of the saddest videos in the collection, you can see Pixie in an empty picnic area at night, posing in her bra and underwear. In another video that she posed in her bathtub, looking quite uncomfortable. Again, it paints a lonely, sad picture of a girl desperate for attention, living a strange life. lolcow was having a blast with these, quickly filling up the thread the videos were posted in, and they started a new thread, March 17th, 2015, to praise Web M. Sama. Web M. Sama revealed in the drop that he was just some normal guy who talked to Pixyteri for a while on Skype, and she sent him a link to the drive, desperate for attention. Pixie also began posting increasingly sad blogs to Lineplay about her upcoming birthday, as she was soon to hit the age of 30. And as a fan of Lolita costuming, aging was most likely scary to the aesthetic she wished to have. But Pixyteri wasn't all sad. She actually liked a meme on March 27th that was making fun of her, meaning she was somewhat in on the joke. She also posted herself cosplaying at a carnival in April, and her spirits were soon up once again as she got a new waitressing job. Not only that, she was uploading more videos of her in her maid costume at her new waitressing job to her OneDrive. Praise the queen. Also, she seemed to be doing really well at her job. I noticed a change that happened after the whole PTNR debacle. The change was to her followers. After this debacle, they began to just follow her online, and they really didn't seem to want to mess with her anymore. I wouldn't call them nice per se. They still made fun of her appearance, but they seemed to want her to be successful now. They missed the times of the golden years, and after years of trolling only driving their queen further away, I think it became apparent that they couldn't milk this lolcow, like Anons had milked Christian. Pixie apparently had a new Twitter, which her followers found on the 7th of May 2015, which was found because her new Twitter was Pixie_Terry, not that concealed. There, they went through all her tweets, where she referred to herself as the true queen of kawaii cosplay, which is 100% facts, and pretty much what I hope I proved to you in this video. But not only that, there was talk of someone by the name of Rico. Remember that name. Pixie soon announced on May 9th that she was taking a hiatus from cosplay and posting videos, much to her followers' sadness. It seemed like the queen was now fully back to the internet. And on the same day that she announced her hiatus, she went on TinyChat. Her fans were ecstatic. The queen was back, and she seemed to be in good spirits, making jokes with her followers. She was probably happy to get attention, and her starved followers were happy to give her ass pats and attention. But remember Rico and the British guy I talked about earlier? In the chat that night on TinyChat, someone asked who Rico was, and Pixie informed them that Rico was a British guy. Her white knights and fans now knew some more information on the man allegedly blackmailing their queen. Again, remember how I said the way people saw Pixyteri had somewhat changed because of how much everyone missed her? They ironically began to love her, and that irony became genuine. Rico would pay. The same night as the TinyChat appearance, Pixyteri began to manically post to her Twitter. In one tweet, she wrote, "I'm going to tweet a lot tonight, and I don't care what people say. I'm lonely. I don't care, Rico. You can suck it." Not only were people now trying to help Pixie with her blackmailer, and Anon drew her some lovely fan art of her as a Bleach character to cheer her up about her upcoming birthday, which she had been posting that she was very sad about. People also began to try to get to the guy that they thought was blackmailing Pixie. I saw people messaging him on various apps, trying to get information from him with no luck. This person also tried to write to Pixie on Skype to warn her about Rico. They wrote this on lolcow. Also, to expand on why I believe it was Rico logged in on her Skype account. I had used the exact same name for Skype as I had Kik, and after speaking to Rico through Kik, I decided I was going to log into Skype and warn PT, to which I was met with what seemed like an angry PT, repeating back to me some of the exact same things I said to Rico. At first I thought, okay, Rico just linked PT to our convo, so I went ahead and warned PT about Rico, tried to tell her not to trust him, that I knew he was blackmailing her, etc. But what was weird was that normally with PT, she just instantly blocked you, right? Here, she actually just stayed and watched me type, and read everything I typed. So I logged back into Kik and engaged with Rico, and he immediately started repeating back to me what I just typed to PT's Skype. After I argued with him for a bit, I went on PT's Twitter to see if there was any mention of what has just happened, and my account was not blocked. She was still following me and was tweeting happily away as if nothing happened. It legit seems like Rico is controlling every facet of her life. It was worrying. After sad posting on Twitter for days, Pixie went back on TinyChat on May 15th. I want to note that later on, Pixie was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Everyone on lolcow was excited that the queen even went on camera in this night's stream. It did seem like Rico was trying to get her off though, and started to allegedly spam the chat with links to lolcow. There were tons of screen caps from that night's TinyChat, and everyone seemed to be having fun. Tons of Pixyteri followers seemed to be cheering her on and video chatting with her. There were also a lot of cameras turned on of men jerking off their you-know-what. Pixie seemed to be laughing at it, having a great time. Pixyteri then posted some new videos online, acting smiley and happy, and a day after the fun Tiny Chat, Pixyteri went on Tiny Chat again, and again the next night, and I think again the night after that. She was increasingly dressing in less and less, as everyone cheered her on. After several days of Tiny Chat, on the 18th, she went on and expressed some worrying things involving her depression, and a day after, claimed that she was going to quit Tiny Chat. That didn't last though, and she went on Tiny Chat again pretty much every day of the rest of the month, and looked quite happy in the screen caps as people watched and joined in. But between Tiny Chat streams, she was sad posting on Twitter, obviously obsessed with how sad she was that she would be turning 30 in 2 months. June comes, and people began to try to dox the British guy in an attempt to free the Queen. I don't think the doxing attempts brought any results though. Pixyteri seemed to have cooled down by June 4th and started posting nice photos again. Not only was the Queen looking happy, she eventually got even more famous by appearing in a cosplay cringe article around June 7th. I feel like these old articles making fun of cosplayers are extremely dated. Nowadays, I think articles like these would be considered in poor taste in the cosplay community and considered bullying. Pixie posted more videos to her OneDrive, very awkward videos in very little clothing. Not only that, she continued to complain about her upcoming birthday. But something started to actually change in the month of June 2015. Pixie started losing weight. Pixie became increasingly bitter during this month as well. She tweeted about her life being ruined on the 20th. She also expressed that she now hated anime conventions, and that she wanted to delete her line play because of the trolls. She did delete her Twitter again on June 27th, and her birthday month comes, the big 3-0. Pixie started out the month by posting about how she is sad that she will never go to Japan or be a sexy cosplayer, idol, maid, or dancer. Though, 2 days after this, on the 3rd of the month, she posted her weight loss progress to line play and Facebook. Sadly, she did get banned from line play for posting these photos, and she was banned for about a week. Not much else happens between the beginning of the month and her birthday. Pixie continued to post about how sad she was, and also posted weight loss updates. She did eventually create a YouTube channel, though no archives remain of the video she uploaded there, before she shut it down, but it seemed like she posted dancing videos there. The month closed out with her saying she wouldn't celebrate her 30th, and saying she was upset at Mitchell Verley for making videos making fun of her. The next month, it's pretty much the same. Her post kept getting sadder. Sadly, she deleted all her YouTube videos around the 14th of August. The Kiwi Farms user Joker, who allegedly knew the Queen, wrote this as being part of the cause. I don't know what exactly is going on as of yesterday, but there is a good chance that Pixie is finally going to get the help she needs. She has been severely depressed for months now, and from my conversations with her, I was actually worried that she would do something to make things even worse for herself. Her regression has been horrible, and she was reverting back to a time when she was happier, and anime/Japanese stuff was her hug box. The cool guys on Facebook and YouTube made things even worse. There was one person that had been sending her Blue Spike-esque messages that really things up, and had a good hand in this breakdown. Someone then asked him for an example of what these cool guys were doing, to which the Joker replied. Basically, it was a group of weens that were trying to blackmail her into making nude videos and crap like that. These guys got banned from YouTube the other day, but they looked like they were trying to get Christian-like sagas out of her. They were also doing it with another weeb girl on YouTube, who is only 14 and severely handicapped. They only had one video on their channel, where they were wearing anon masks. This all resulted in Pixie disappearing again. Her videos were taken down, and she also posted about deleting her line play. On August 8th, 2015, Joker offered some more insight into the fascinating character that was Pixie, writing, I think that Pixie's problem is that she desperately wants to be needed by people. When I met her, I was only 15, and happened to be the youngest girl at the Lolita meetup we went to. Pixie was cool to me and my friends, and we talked about anime we liked. She did not seem as obsessed then. It was more something she seemed to just be really into, and gave each other cosplay advice. As soon as she graduated college and went into the real world, she just fell off the deep end. She doesn't really want to be an adult and live up to everyday expectations. At conventions, people were nice to her. It did not make nasty comments, so they were her safe place. But her need for acceptance led her to hang out with people who made things even worse for her. I cannot say enough bad things about Chris. He is just a f***ing ass. Right now, she has a love/hate relationship with the internet. She needs the pats to help her escape. But the weens make things worse for her. It doesn't take a genius to see that she has severe emotional problems that are being ignored. Pixie disappeared for a few weeks, but then returned to Line Play August 31st, 2015, to inform all her adoring fans that she had lost even more weight. She disappeared for another month. On September 23rd, she let her fans know that she is still alive by posting a new video to her Dropbox. And later on December 4th, she began posting to her YouTube again. After this, she began posting some cosplay photos, and to everyone's surprise, she looked great in them. Not like amazing professional cosplay levels, but they weren't cringy, she looked nice, and she had lost a lot of weight. She was still pooping in some of the pictures, but it was still a giant improvement. Trolls still tried to harass her. A troll tried to get stuff from her on Skype on November 1st, but Pixie was depressed and wary of people at this point, so she mostly just ignored it. She continued to do her thing, and she kept losing weight. Was this the first time a lolcow was doing great for themselves and moving on? It certainly seemed like it. I mean, she still went to the abandoned school around Christmas time this year to take butt shots, which is cringe. But our girl Pixyteri was making small steps, and by December 18th, 2015, she had lost 28 pounds. With her new weight loss, she started getting into a new style of cosplay, something called crossplay. Crossplaying is when someone who identifies as one gender dresses as a character of another gender. Pixyteri started to shed her girly idol ways, and began to become who she now thought she always was, a tomboy. "2016 starts off great. This is sarcasm. It starts with someone going on an incel message board to brag that they had sex with Pixyteri on the 1st. According to lolcow, the person who bragged was Pixyteri's sort of boyfriend, James. 2016 would be the last active year from Pixyteri, and her mental health would rapidly decline in this year. Pixyteri kept posting cosplay and kept progressively losing weight, and people thought she was doing better. She would post creepy shots of her cosplaying as underage male characters, but she was doing better. At this time, her fans only had her photo bucket and her Facebook to keep up with her and her posts, and the things she was posting on these sites got worrying. Her posts on social media started to get, increasingly paranoid about perceived slights against her that were obviously from a mentally ill place. Let's see. On February 17th, 2016, she was convinced that the costume contact lens website, Honeycolor, was out to get her. Then, about 2 months later, Pixie posted that she was scared, but did not give information as to what she was scared of. And a day after that, she posted that she was scared she was going to be eaten at work. She soon lost her job and began to post increasingly neurotic things that were worrying about her mental health. Not only this, she began to think she was becoming a biological male. A troll ended up talking to her on Skype about this, and got inappropriate photos from this person with rapidly deteriorating mental health, as well as a video of Pixie, so every one of her followers could see. The video they posted is now gone, but the person who posted had cliff notes. It seemed that Pixyteri was now identifying as male, and was getting really sick physically and mentally. This troll called themselves PTNR 2.0, and explained that they got this information from Pixyteri by pretending that they were a gynecologist to gain Pixie's trust. And then, of course, after gaining trust, proceeded to post everything. They continued in another post to detail the woman's mental health, writing, "Another thing I'll note is that she is really disjointed and borderline incoherent as compared to how she used to be. At one point, she randomly asked if I believed in witches. She told me she thinks hermaphrodites are aliens from another planet. She then kept asking me to assure her that no one was going to throw her into a mental hospital. She'll interrupt to say she feels like she is pregnant, but she knows she isn't and feels that there is something growing inside her. She is absolutely terrified that she is going to die. She also seems to think her mom is plotting against her somehow and wants her to die because she wasn't born as a male or some shit. I'm not a doctor, but I play one on Skype. But I don't think this stuff is just more of her usual craziness. This stuff is too nutty even for her. I'd chalk it all up to a symptom of whatever the is going on with her more than anything else. It's either causing psych issues or exacerbating the one she already has. It was really hard to have a lucid conversation with her. The only good that came out of this conversation was that this troll got Pixyteri to go to a doctor. After all of this went down, Pixie basically disappeared off the internet. People followed her, but updates were less and less. as said, Pixyteri mostly disappeared. People followed her on Facebook because a lot of people had a sense of nostalgia for the Queen's heyday. Over there, it seemed she kept losing weight, and surprisingly started to accept that she was in fact white. On March 20th, 2017, she posted that she wanted to learn about her European heritage and wanted to start to dress different. She continued to cosplay and even won a cosplay award for Best Adult Cosplay this year. Pixie continued to talk about questioning her gender, but I do think it was more along the lines of not wanting to be feminine or girly. I believe Pixie was more of a tomboy, as she still went by the name Sarah on Facebook, but I could be wrong. Everything seemed to be great. She might have even deleted her Facebook at some point, or at least didn't post anything anyone seemed to care about. That was until a worrying post from her mother surfaced on December 21st, 2019. Her mother had posted a review to a mental health doctor on Facebook detailing really graphic, horrific things about her daughter that really has no place on Facebook. This opened up a lot of people's eyes to what Pixie had been dealing with, and also what kind of person her mother was. The relationship between Pixie and her mother would get worse the next year, and many people who believed her mom to be a saint because she put up with her nutso lolcow daughter, well, those people's opinions changed. Pixyteri did return to Facebook in 2020 and posted some really good artwork. A lot of negative information about her home life came out in this year as well, but it seems inappropriate to talk about family drama in a YouTube video, especially considering that a lot of the information was leaked via trolls interacting with Pixie, and the info was not posted publicly by Pixie herself. That being said, there was a video leaked to Kiwi Farms that showed that Pixie's mental state had rapidly declined in the years of her absence, causing the relationship between her parents and her to decay into chaos. Not only that, but she eventually was kicked out of the house by her parents when they couldn't deal with her any longer. This resulted in her mother posting a lot of strange statuses that led some people to think that maybe her mom wasn't the saint that many thought her to be in the early years. And not only that, ex-friends and trolls of Pixie came forward to share disturbing stories that Pixie had told them about her mom over the years, such as her mom following her around the house daily to tell her that she was fat and that no man would ever want her. There was also a tale that when Pixie did in fact lose weight, her mother began to guilt her by buying her clothes and telling her that she was going to be buried in them. It seemed her mother was almost as much of a disaster as she was. I'm not here to pass my judgment though. I'm not in the situation and I don't know all the details, so please don't do anything to anyone involved in the story. And for the most part, Pixyteri stopped being public after around 2015. Her fans and her followers just keep up with her from her and her mother's Facebook. After getting kicked out, Pixie did eventually go back home with her family and started to work again. And I really wish the best for her. It has become rather sad and goes to show that the internet never forgets. The only way to avoid the gaze of the internet is to not have a public presence. Though it doesn't seem that Pixie nor her mom have learned this lesson, as the two continued to fight publicly over social media in 2020 for all the Church of Pixie to watch. I really want to just point out that I am actually a fan of Pixyteri, and I really hope the best for her. Like, super, I can't emphasize it enough. And I hope everyone listening likes Pixyteri as much as me. Even if she said some bad things, even if she's just not the best all the time. I like Pixyteri, but that's where we end it. This was a rather sad story. This was the story of one girl who went online many years ago in order to gain a following of fans who adored her. But because she didn't take criticism or suggestions well, it caused people to want to make fun of her. Pixie didn't become an adored idol and instead became a spectacle, and still does to this day, despite not trying to be famous anymore. But the weird thing about this story is, she eventually did become an idol in a way. After disappearing, and then people who were following her missing her, and the entertainment that she brought, it felt like people genuinely became fans of her. I'm not going to call any of what the people following her did ethical. There were some truly awful people, in my opinion, who took advantage of someone on the internet who is obviously mentally unwell. I also think the reason Pixyteri was so big back in the day was because she dressed and acted in a way that fascinated people. A lot of people are self-conscious and have the ability to reflect on themselves and be embarrassed about looking ridiculous. But not Pixyteri. Pixyteri dressed and posted in some of the most unflattering ways, and that just made people wonder, why is this person doing this? Can they not see this doesn't look good? But that's kind of admirable in a way as well. I mean, Pixyteri just did what she wanted to do. I wish things like her nudes weren't leaked, but this could be a cautionary tale to anyone who wants to come on the internet and get popularity, who face harsh criticism. This can turn nasty, like it did with Pixie, and it even could get worse than what happened with Pixie. At the same time, I don't think something like Pixie would happen today. There are a lot more entertaining female lolcows nowadays. Momocun, Amberlynn Reed, and more. The stuff Pixyteri did back in the day is just kinda normal on the net now. I see people dressed like Pixyteri on TikTok all the time. I think Pixyteri only could have become a thing because she came up around 2008 to 2011. If she had started years later, she would have flown under the radar. But Pixyteri always wanted to shine, and she did in her own way. But at what cost? Was it worth it? It's a sad story for me, but at the same time, I kind of like Pixyteri. She's amusing and harmless. Anyways, that's where we close it. I hope this video was informative to you listeners on how one girl wanting to shine and post her cosplays ended up creating a lot of internet culture today. And yet y'all never heard of her. I mean, Brittany Venti is a fan.
Her name is Pixyteri, and she is a cosplayer, and her cosplays are the bestest. She does like a bunch of kawaii Neko-chan ones that are like, I just hope that one day I can work to like be on her level.
Before we go, let me thank the people who read for this. I'm gonna link all their channels and social media below, and I encourage you to check them out. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. First, I'd like to thank Lazy Bedhead for voicing Pixyteri. Next, thank you Empty Hero for reading Pixyteri fanfiction for me. And last, thank you Toad McKinley for reading the Green Posts. Check all those people out, they are cool. Alright, that's the end. I'd like to thank my patrons and my channel members listed here. You guys rock. If you like long-form content on internet lore and internet eccentrics, please consider donating. If not, that's cool. I plan to start releasing early content for everyone who donates and whatnot, so it will be fun over there. But that's it. Thank you guys if you made it to the end, and suffer lightly.